Alright, welcome back, Zandvoort. It's been a little while since the Ray has been here, and obviously the Ray suspension has changed, so some differences in the setup. If you are new to this track, cold tires are a thing here. A lot of understeer when the tires are cold. You got to really watch out for that. Easy to get off track. This is a very technical track. It is going to take some practice to get fast. It's not so hard to get around this track, but to get around it fast, it is going to take some practice, that is for sure. And yeah, cold tires, you are not going to be setting your best time on cold tires. When you get down to the last half of the tank, your times are really going to drop a fair bit. So ride height 24 mils, not quite as low as it goes, but pretty low. Um, Damper compression 20, ARB is 0. Do not want understeer here. There is already a lot to begin with. 57% for the brakes for me. For you, that's a different number. However, probably a little bit on the lower side of what you normally go with. Spring rates, low as they go, front and back. Cambers are cranked. 1.9 left and right, it's symmetrical. Hey, there you go. 1.8 probably is alright. 1.9 I actually find probably on your last two laps the tire wear starts to factor in, so watch out for that. So 1.8 if you want to be a little kinder to your tires. Toe in 1.4. You do need a lot of turn in here. You may want to try 1.5. That will give you a little bit of extra turn in, but there is also some pretty good straights here, so you don't necessarily want to have that cranked up as high as it can go. So spring rates, yeah, 35, low as they go in the rear. Camber 1.4 on the left, 1.1 on the right. There are some off-camber corners here, and the right-hand side, in order to keep the tire, a bigger tire patch on track, it's 1.1. But go with the higher value if you want to keep them symmetrical. And toe in. Now, the last time I was here, before the Ray had changed, I was using a .5 toe in the rear, and I think it was doing pretty good. I think the pace was pretty good. But as I've mentioned in other videos here, now that the suspension has changed, it seems like if you go over .3, it really has a negative value on the car, and I think this is the third or fourth guide now with the new suspension, and I did try it at .5, and having anything above .3 seems to just be a negative on the car, so look out for that. .3, however, does seem to work pretty darn good. Ride height, 34 in the back, so that's just to keep the back end a little higher than the front, to keep that rake in a proper proportion. ARB is 20. It is not that hard to lose the back end here. 15 mils if you are new to this track will make things a little easier for you. However, like I said, there's a lot of understeer on this track, and you do need the rotation of the car to get around fast. So it may take a little bit of practice, but 20 mils is going to get you around the track faster. Damper compression 6 and 18, that's pretty standard. Fuel levels, 14 is definitely going to get you to the end. I can probably do it with 13 liters, so just watch out for that. And the other thing to note is on the last lap, when you are, with 1 or 2 laps of fuel left in your tank, watch out. The back end does get a little loose on this track, so just watch out for that when you are on your last lap or two. That back end may want to step out a little bit easier than it does in the middle of your fuel tank. Gear stack tall. Standard to standard, you are going to get eaten up in the front straight. Tall is what you need. You could even argue very tall with the draft, but I think that's going to cost you in all of the other corners, so I think tall is the sweet spot. Alright, so we'll get into this in slow-mo and then run it out at full speed. Track is 35%, that's my standard rate, 22 degrees. So coming into turn 1, looking for the 100 board and the 50 board. Gonna brake closer to the 50 board, but in between the two of them, pretty hard on the brakes, pretty darn hard, shifting down into third. Watch out, you can lock up into this corner pretty easy, so just watch your brake bias and that kind of thing. Braking really hard, shifting down into second as you approach the green paint on the side here. I don't like to shift down into second really quickly. Come in third, let the engine do some slowing. If you shift down really quickly, I find that gets the rear end under rotating, and it's a lot easier to spin the car out. So don't shift down too quickly. And this is a very late apex, releasing the brakes as you turn in. Very important to release the brakes. If you are hard on the brakes and you turn in, you are going to be spinning. And yeah, very late apex. As you come around here, just before the end of the barrier here, you want to be picking up the throttle nice and early, getting right up tight against the curbs here, but not on them. And do watch out. This is quite a cambered corner. The guy on the outside can definitely go for it here, so watch out for that. Picking up the throttle nice and early, unwind the wheel out to the curbs here, and just work your way up through the gears. So coming into this one, up into third gear for a short time, and where the track, where the curb turns to the left, you want to be turning to the right. And it's just a bit of brake shifting down into second, and very important to not, I mean, unless you're battling for this corner, very important not to come in here too hot. You do have to get way over to the right, get onto the curbs here, get way over to the right for this next corner, and you do not want to have your car sliding or going any way sideways or having much wheel input as you approach this big corner. It will cost you a lot of time if you do. So just lifting as you kind of get the wheel straight by the end of the green boards here. Just a little lift. If you come in here too hot, you can lose it. So just a little lift, and then once you're approaching the end of the cement, or the lighter cement here barrier, picking up the throttle nice and early. And very important, be on the high side here. You can carry a lot more speed. There will be guys going down at the bottom battling for this corner, but if you're staying up high, that is quicker. Using all the curb on exits, it's not going to spin you out or anything like that. Do not touch the grass though. If you touch the grass, very easy to spin out. So yeah, there may be some battling and passing here. Now, just a little note, this part of the track is from a different configuration, and if you are side by side into this and you cut this corner, this part of the track is a different camber. It's a little bit of a bump. If you are side by side and you get onto this section, you are going to slide wide, and you may be running into the guy beside you. It's not the end of the world if there's nobody beside you. It's a little disruptive, but if there is someone beside you, you get onto that side of the track, it is going to push you wide. So just watch out for that. So fourth gear, in real time it looks like I'm braking at the pavement here, but in slow-mo it's a little bit before. Shifting down into third, little bit of brakes. Well, brake first and then shifting down into third. Came in here just a little counter steer, and picking up the throttle nice and early. That is going to actually keep the back end planted better. So pick up that throttle nice and early, and that will get you through here without spinning out. So up into third gear. If you're drafting, you're probably going to be up into fourth gear. So you may want to practice this in fourth gear, but if everything is even, I like to keep it in third. And looking for the kink in the track here, just a little bit of brake, leaving it in third gear, and getting the car turned in. Do not touch the grass on this Do not try to open up this corner. If you get on the grass here as you turn in, you are going to be spinning out. Came in a little hot, just a little counter steer, and right up against the sausage curb. Going over this sausage curb I find is way too disruptive. So right up against it, get on the curb there, picking up the throttle, and running the car out wide. Um, So I don't like to get on the curb here. You can open up this corner obviously if you are wider out here, but I find braking on this curb and turning in while you are on this curb um, makes it a lot more difficult to get the turn in. Your car is going to want to slide more, and I find it a little bit slower getting onto that curb. So right up against the edge of that curb, depending on your field of view, this whatever it is, cell tower, uh, once I get alongside it, shifting down into second on the brakes, pretty hard on the brakes. You want to get the car really slowed down so you can pick up the throttle nice and early. It is much, much quicker than trying to brake late here. So turning in, getting right up against the curbs but not on them, and again picking up the throttle just a little bit before the apex, but the earlier the better, and then letting the car run out wide. Now cold tires, you are probably going to get onto the curbs here on exits, but once the tires are warm and they are gripping up, I find running out wide here actually just extends the track a bit, and you lose not very much time, but just a tiny bit of time. And looking for this outhouse on the right and the pavement, and getting on the brakes in between the two, just before the pavement here. In second gear, pretty hard on the brakes. Just like the last corner, you want to have the car slowed down as you turn in so you can pick up the throttle nice and early. Now watch the wheel inputs here as you get on the brakes. Very important not to put in a lot of wheel input here. When you are hard on the brakes, if you turn this wheel too hard, you are going to spin out. This is a very, very tough corner. Releasing the brakes and then turning the wheel much more to get into the apex of this corner, and then getting again right up against the curbs but not on them, picking up the throttle nice and early. If you get on the curb here, it is very easy to spin the car out. The back end will want to step out if you have any throttle on, so watch out for that. And again, cold tires, you are going to be using all the curbs here on exit, but once the tires are warm, I find that's just extending the track a little bit. So now coming up to the next one, looking for the curbs here. Real time it looks like I'm braking at them, but I think in slow-mo here I'm braking just before them. Hard on the brakes, down into second gear. You can actually get onto the curbs here. I wasn't as wide as I could have been. Not a huge difference, but you can use the curbs here on entry. Hard on the brakes, and then it's very important you're braking earlier than some people will brake, so watch out for that, because you're braking early because you want to go over this sausage curb. This is going to save you some time. This one is not too disruptive, and it will save you some time definitely getting over that curb, cutting that corner a bit. Just a little bit of throttle and then shifting down into first gear. Second gear, the RPMs just get too low, and on exit you are going to lose time if you leave it in second. So into first, getting onto the curbs here, just watch out, do not stomp on the throttle. If you stomp on the throttle, the car will spin out. So just picking up the throttle nice and easy and level, and then unwinding the wheel. You're down into first gear just for a short time, shifting up into second, using all of the curbs on exit here. Watch out if you ran wide and you get onto this grass, can spin out there, so watch out for that. So up into third for a short time. This one's kind of tricky, about maybe 2 car lengths before the curbs here. In third gear, just giving it a bit of brake, not hard braking, leaving it in third, and very important to get onto the curbs this time. You want to cut this corner as much as you can. Cold tires, it is very easy to understeer here. and get into the gravel. So you really want to get into the curb there and cut that corner, and that way you will stay on track. Use all of the curbs on exit, however. So in third gear still, and there's two ways to do this. You could turn in here. It will actually gain you a little time on entry if you turn in here. However, if you keep the wheel, straight here and turn in at the end of the BWT, you are going to lose a little time on entry, but you are going to gain time on exit. You're using the momentum and the curvature of the track here to help give you a little extra oomph into this straight. So I find that this is the faster way to do it overall, but if you turn in there earlier, you will gain it on entry, but you will lose it on exit. Not a big difference, but it is a little bit quicker, I find, to do it this way. And that's a 44 flat. Again, very hard track to get fast on, and watch those cold tires, don't get frustrated in the first few laps. It is going to be a little understeery. Alright, we'll run this out at full speed. We'll see you next time. Good luck out there.